Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. In this session, we will be discussing from the 7th verse of the 15th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yat samshrayat drupadageham upagatanam rajñam swayamvara mukhe smara durmadanam tejo hritam khalu mayabhihatascha matsyaha sajji kritena dhanusha adhigata cha Krishna. The meaning of this 7th verse is as follows. Only by his merciful strength was I able to vanquish all the lusty princes assembled at the palace of King Drupada for the selection of the bridegroom. With my bow and arrow, I could pierce the fish target and thereby gain the hand of Draupadi. Arjuna is remembering all the different incidents in the past, in the association of the Lord, how he was specially empowered by Lord Krishna to do something, many things very, very extraordinary, even amazing to the demigods. So Srila Prabhupada explains this in the purport. What is amazing about Arjuna winning the hand of Draupadi in that Swayamvara ceremony, Draupadi Swayamvara? How did Arjuna actually defeat the other princes? How was he able to pass the test which Drupada had actually arranged to select a proper bridegroom for Draupadi? So Srila Prabhupada explains that in the purport. Srila Prabhupada says, Draupadi was the most beautiful daughter of King Drupada, and when she was a young girl, almost all the princes desired her hand. The Kshatriyas, they want to marry the most beautiful princess of their time in their neighborhood. So it was well known in the different parts of this Bharatvarsha during the time of Draupadi that this daughter of Drupada, she was the most beautiful princess of her time. And when Drupada announced that she is going to be married to the prince who can actually successfully pass a test, then so many princes came. So here Srila Prabhupada explains something confidential, that Drupada Maharaj decided to hand over his daughter to Arjuna only. This was Drupada's desire. He wanted to marry his daughter Draupadi only to Arjuna. And therefore, Drupada contrived a peculiar way. Drupada is very intelligent because it's not explained in the purport by Srila Prabhupada. The details are there in the Mahabharata. That Drupada actually could have directly approached Arjuna and expressed his desire to marry his daughter to Arjuna. But Arjuna was reportedly killed in a fire accident. This was the time when Duryodhana was plotting to kill the Pandavas, and Duryodhana, along with the support and the encouragement by his father Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana built a palace, separate palace for the Pandavas in another place, in a separate place. And that palace was made of combustible materials, shellac. And the Pandavas were told by Dhritarashtra, you don't have to share the palace in Hastinapura with the Kauravas. You go and stay separately in a beautiful palace that I have specially arranged to be built for you, and you stay there comfortably. Now Pandavas, they came to know through some secret messages, basically from Vidura. The Pandavas came to know that this was a plot to kill them by setting fire after they went to that new palace, and in that way burn them alive. So this was the plot, and the Pandavas, what they did, because they knew that they are being sent there to be killed alive, Yudhishthira secretly had arranged to dig a tunnel from underneath that new palace to escape and save themselves. This was also another secret not known to Duryodhana or Dhritarashtra or any of the Kauravas. So when Pandavas agreed to go, Dhritarashtra thought, now we will somehow eliminate the Pandavas. So then the Pandavas actually escaped after going there. And even though the palace was set on fire, the people thought Pandavas were living inside, and they were very, very unhappy that the Pandavas were killed in an apparently a fire accident. And externally, the Kauravas, who knew the real reason why the Pandavas were sent there to be killed alive, burnt alive, so they externally expressed some sorrow. Oh, very unfortunate, the Pandavas were burnt alive, some accident. But actually, practically nobody knew that the Pandavas had escaped. Drupada was doubtful whether the Pandavas were really killed in that fire accident. So in order to discover where are the Pandavas, he decided to actually contrive a peculiar way of arranging a test for the princes to discover where is Arjuna, if he is in hiding. So what was the test for the prince who wanted to marry Draupadi, which was arranged such a way only Arjuna could pass that? What was the test? There was a fish hanging on the inner roof of the house under the protection of a wheel. There is a fish hanging on the inner roof of the house, and that underneath the fish there was a wheel. The condition was that out of the princely order, the contending prince must be able to pierce the fish's eyes through the wheel of protection. The eye of the fish has to be pierced by the prince who shoots an arrow. That eye has to be pierced through the wheel, and no one will be allowed to look up at the target. They can't directly look up and aim the arrow at the eye of the fish. On the ground, there was a water pot in which the target and wheel were reflected. The target, which is the eye of the fish, and the wheel were reflected in the water pot. And they can only look down into the reflection. And one has to fix his aim towards the target by looking at the trembling water in the pot. The water is not steady. The target is steady, but the water is shaking, is trembling. Maharaj Drupada knew very well that only Arjuna or alternately Karna could successfully carry out the plan. Among the princes, different princes, only Karna or Arjuna could actually pass the test. But still, Drupada wanted to hand over his daughter to Arjuna only. So what did he do? In the assembly of the princely order, when Drishtadyumna, the brother of Draupadi, introduced all the princes to his grown-up sister, Karna was also present in the game. But Draupadi tactfully avoided Karna as the rival of Arjuna, and she expressed her desires through her brother Drishtadyumna that she was unable to accept anyone who was less than a Kshatriya. So Karna was also there. Karna came forward, but Draupadi expressed through Drishtadyumna that she will not marry anybody who is less than a Kshatriya. Karna was known as the son of a carpenter or a Shudra. And in those days, the Vaishyas and the Shudras are considered to be less important than the Kshatriyas. So, Draupadi avoided Karna by this method. Karna was known as son of a Shudra, so he was called a Shudra. So Draupadi said, I don't want to marry a Shudra or a Vaishya, I want to marry a Kshatriya. When Arjuna, who was also present in that assembly, he was disguised as a poor Brahmana. When the Pandavas escaped from that shellac house when it was set on fire, they actually came away to the forest, and in the forest they were disguised, because they were still not clear how they are going to reveal to everyone that they have escaped, and how will they protect themselves against the attack of Duryodhana and the other Kauravas, who are always thinking of how to kill the Pandavas. So how to protect themselves and how to reveal to the others that they are alive. So they were disguising themselves. So in this Swayamvara ceremony, they came disguised as poor Brahmanas. Arjuna was disguised as poor Brahman. So Arjuna, when none of the other princes were able to pierce the target, who were Kshatriyas, they all failed to pierce the target. It was not possible for them. Then Arjuna came forward, though he was dressed as a poor Brahmana, because a Brahmana is superior to a Kshatriya. So he came forward and said, let me try, even though I am not a Kshatriya, let me try, if I am permitted to. So Drupada, Draupadi and Drishtadyumna all were very curious. Who is this Brahmana who is going to try? Let us see. When everyone else has failed, whether this Brahmana will succeed. Let us see. So he was allowed. Then Arjuna, actually in the dress of a poor Brahmana, he pierced a difficult target, and everyone was astonished. This Brahmana is able to pierce the target which everyone else has failed to do so. Who is this Brahman? Then, especially Karna offered a stiff fight to Arjuna. that in a Swayamvara, the others who have lost, they will not allow the winner to simply take away the beautiful bride, Draupadi. So when Karna put up a fight against Arjuna, then Arjuna was able to defeat Karna only by the grace of Krishna, and he thus was successfully able to win the hand of Draupadi. Now Arjuna remembered this incident, that only because of Krishna he was having that extraordinary strength to fight against all the princes, including Karna, and thus win the hand of Draupadi. So Arjuna remembered that. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.